One of the easiest ways to improve your Bitcoin investing is to just follow what the market's largest and most influential participants are doing. So let's go whale watching. Today we're going to be seeing what the Bitcoin whales are currently doing, given our pretty boring recent price action, and where better to start than the value days destroyed multiple chart we have here on bitcoinmagazinepro.com. And as you may have noticed recently, this has actually just turned back green again, which indicates a much cooler market condition, especially compared to where we were just a couple of months ago at the most recent all-time high. If I just zoom in over the most recent cycle here, we'll see this value days destroyed metric has dropped significantly, indicating that the amount of coin days destroyed, the amount of Bitcoin that's been held for an extended period of time, a huge amount of Bitcoin has decreased massively. This usually means that whales aren't transferring their BTC from wallet to wallet as frequently. Might be a little easier actually if I just actually show how this is calculated for anyone that may not be aware of the value days destroyed metric. So it's taking into account the coin days destroyed. So just as a quick analogy, if I held 1 BTC for 10 days before transferring it from my wallet to another wallet, I would add 10 coin days destroyed to the network. Same if I held 1 BTC for 100 days, it'd be 100 coin days destroyed, etc. So the value days destroyed is weighing not only the amount of BTC that is being transferred, but as well as that the amount of time it is being held. And then we're just multiplying that figure by the BTC price action to give us a little bit more insight into the actual underlying profit or loss that's potentially been made on each of these large transactions. And we can actually see that again, this has dipped quite significantly, which is actually pretty healthy for the BTC markets. Obviously, when we see this very warm red colors on the chart, indicates that large long-term players in the market are probably taking some profits on their positions. And if we just go to the long-term holder supply chart here, this is another chart potentially indicating that the market has cooled off sufficiently after a quite a long period of choppy consolidation, as this has recently climbed back above 16 million Bitcoin that have been held by these long-term wallets, closing in on a previous all-time high of about 16.3 million coin held by old long-term wallets. Although one caveat to acknowledge with this metric is it is defining long-term holders as addresses that have held BTC for 155 days or more, and 155 days ago was pretty close to the BTC all-time high. So really this is probably just a little bit of a combination of, yes, long-term holders potentially not willing to sell, potentially reaccumulating, but a lot of this is going to be short-term holders that potentially FOMO'd in and bought the top, now just holding and becoming long-term holders. And if we just look at the addresses with 1,000 BTC at least chart, this kind of reiterates this because we've not really seen a substantial amount of growth in the number of wallets holding 1,000 BTC or more. If I just zoom in on the most recent cycle, we can see that since the lows we set in late 2022, there was around 2,000, 2,100 wallets that were holding at least 1,000 BTC up to hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin in each wallet. And we can see this actually rapidly increased prior to the all-time high before rapidly decreasing to around 2,055 wallets. This has increased slightly near to 2,080, but really it's been pretty flat for the last few months. If we compare to previous cycles, we can see as we're approaching all-time highs, this typically tends to decrease rapidly, like we saw here in 2021 and here again in 2017 into 2018, when a lot of these more experienced larger holders probably know when to start taking some profit on their positions. And again, if we look at the 1 year HODL wave, this kind of reiterates what we've seen with that long-term holder supply. Usually during bull cycles, we see this start to noticeably decrease on a very cyclical trend. It's not really often we get these downwards move, lots of sideways move, maybe some upwards movement. So really it's some pretty peculiar price action where I think just because we have had such a boring 6-month period, no one's really willing to sell. So not even just looking at whales specifically here, we're seeing not many retail investors willing to part way with their coins. And as well as that, we're probably not seeing a huge amount of new retail investors coming into the market either. But just going back to the whales here, if we go on the whale shadows, we can actually see the amount of large transactions that whales are making. So this is looking at BTC transactions of at least 100 Bitcoin or more. And if we just isolate potentially say the 7 to 9 years and just zoom in on the most recent price action, we can see that while recently near the all-time high, we actually had quite a lot of these whale movements, indicating that a lot of these larger players were probably moving BTC from their old wallets potentially to exchanges to sell for a profit. Over the past few weeks, we've seen very few, really. And it's a very similar story for the 10-year. Of course, there has been some profit taking on the 10+ year holders, but really, if we just look over the past year, we can see the main cluster was when Bitcoin was around $70,000+, and this has been quite noticeably decreasing. And again, we can even look to public companies and their BTC holdings in terms of the Treasury tree maps chart we have here on BitcoinMagazinePro.com. And we can see that while there is a huge amount of BTC being held by these institutions, actually tracking their holdings indicates that there's really not been too much accumulation by large institutions. And especially on the topic of institutions, if we go to the Bitcoin ETFs here, we can see that over the past 6 weeks or so, the largest 11 ETFs haven't really had any increase or noticeable decrease in their holdings. It's been very stagnant for an extended period of time now. Again, indicating that I think many people are just maybe indecisive, a little bit bored potentially. We go to something like the BTC open interest chart. We can see again here, this has just been steadily declining for, well, a couple of years now. But over the past few months especially, this has just been noticeably declining, especially just in the past 2 months since July. We can see that this has dipped substantially from about 250,000 BTC to temporarily beneath 200,000. So lots of notable decreases, not just in holding BTC, these large whales, but retail interest has kind of dropped off a little bit. And the derivative markets have kind of dried up. There's not a whole lot going on. I think just given Bitcoin's ranging price action and pretty low amount of volatility, really we're going to need to see Bitcoin do something to get people back interested in BTC. Also, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to ensure you're receiving all of our content as soon as it's released. And make sure to check out all the resources we've discussed today, as well as the many more that are all available on BitcoinMagazinePro.com, your number one source for Bitcoin analysis. So just to summarize, Bitcoin whales currently aren't doing a whole lot, to be honest. Multiple metrics are pointing towards a decrease in BTC large holder activity, as they are presumably just waiting for higher or potentially even lower prices. Maybe they're looking to, again, scale out their positions once we hopefully start making new all-time highs. But really, maybe they're waiting for an opportunity to buy back in even lower, especially those that maybe were able to take some profits at those all-time highs. And as we're currently seeing that these whales that have been holding Bitcoin, especially for an extended period of time, are holding on to it as well. It really does outline the amount of indecisiveness we've had for really a majority of 2024. And this isn't just long-term holders or large holders or retail holders as well. We can see even by the Treasury tree maps, as well as the ETF inflows and outflows, that really things have been pretty constant for a long extended period of time now. And hopefully things will change, but really this could last even longer. Sometimes you really need to acknowledge that the best thing to do with your Bitcoin trading and investing is doing nothing at all. Obviously, it's always worth keeping an eye on a lot of these metrics so you know when to start taking action again, but sometimes it can be detrimental trying to force trades and investments. If you like this video, then please visit BitcoinMagazinePro.com, where our analytics help you to cut through the noise to make informed, data-driven decisions about Bitcoin. With over 150 live charts, personalized indicator alerts, in-depth crypto industry reports, API access, and more, all for a fraction of the standard industry price. And let me know what your thoughts are, and potentially observing what the BTC whales are doing, potentially even just copying their trades as it's happening in real time. Is this something you're going to look to do over the next few weeks and months, or potentially looking at other on-chain metrics to help you make decisions about your BTC investments? As I said, let me know in the comments below, and on social media. I look forward to reading and replying to all of them. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.